Hey folks, Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, December 17th. It's a beautiful winter wonderland outside. We got a little snow, a little ice, a little freezing rain, a little sleet yesterday. So once again, we're back in my office rather than being on the water. We'll be back on the water towards the end of the week. Got trips booked tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we will be on the water. We'll get you some fresh intel for next week's video. I did fish 5 days last week, so have some intel for last week. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 915.8, which puts us 0.8 over a normal winter pool. Court is still running quite a bit of water. They do have floodgates open right now. Beaver is about 7 feet high, and they are running water through the generators. They did shut the floodgates off up there. Bull Shoals is about 7.5 feet high as well, and they do have floodgates open and all the generators running there, trying to draw everything down in the chain to normal pool. Really think that once they get Beaver handled and get Table Rock back to normal, they'll shut those gates and we'll see a more typical winter flow, not nearly as much current as we've got right now. Water temperature, it has cooled down quite a bit. Last week and over the weekend, we were seeing a lot of 52s, 53s. By the weekend, we were seeing 49, 50, kind of depending on where you are. You're getting some of that dirtier water. Further up the James, you'll start to see 48, 49. It does warm up quick if you've got sunshine. Same with the Kings. 49, 50 to 51, and it will warm up fast. But overall, we're right around 50, 51 degrees all over the lake. But if you guys are coming down, so you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, got several bites going on. Things are changing a little bit. By far, our most consistent bite as far as catching numbers of fish has still been a deep bite, either with the Jewel Scuba Spoon or the Rapala Jigging Rap. Most of the fish we're catching are relating to gravel points and gravel humps on the main lake. Wherever you see shad is where you're going to find these fish. They are still fairly deep, and I really think that the current that they're generating and running through the lake is holding these fish and the shad out deeper. Most of them have been between that 45 to 65 foot range and catching some even deeper. It just kind of depends on the day. If you've got sun, it does tend to drive them deeper. If it's cloudy, they will move up a little bit shallower, but really everything we're catching is between that 45 and 65 foot range. Have started to see a few fish move into the creeks, following the shad back into the creeks. Most of those fish are deep as well. Most of them are in that 40 to 60 foot range, and you don't see a lot of fish when you're fishing for these. You'll see the shad down there. The fish will be in the shad. We've actually been dropping either the spoon or the jigging rap into the top of the shad and just kind of working it, and that's where most of the fish have been coming from on the deep bite. Have been catching them on an A-rig as well down there. Quite a few fish on bluff ends and bluffs and steeper banks, especially if you've got standing timber. These fish are starting to move up and gravitate to that standing timber on those steeper banks, but they are suspended. You are going to want to count your A-rig down a little ways. Most of the fish we've caught on it in the last week have been in that 15 to 25 foot range, over 30 to 60 to 70 to 80 feet deep. So we're not really throwing it shallow. We're basically paralleling these bluffs that have timber on them, or paralleling the bluff ends into the mouth of a creek, letting that bank sink down, get it down about 15 to 20 foot, and then just slowly reel it in. Don't work it fast. You want to fish it slow. That's how we're catching them on an A-rig. Have started to catch a few on a stick bait as well, and most of those fish are in those same locations, holding around standing timber, steeper banks, bluffs, bluff ends, that kind of thing. These fish are suspended up a little bit shallower. You won't get as many bites, but have been getting better quality bites by throwing either a Vision 110 +1 or +2, or throwing the Spromix stick. Seems like the +1 +2 is working better when you've got a calm day or a light wind. If you get a windy day like we had over the weekend, Saturday was pretty windy, they will come up and hit that mixed stick a little bit better than they will the Vision 110 or 110 +1 and +2. And then we do have a crankbait bite starting down by the dam as well. Wigglewort rock crawler, curve 55. Against steeper banks, wind and cloud cover is key to this. I just can't seem to catch them, especially down by the dam in that clear water when it's sunny and calm. So fishing those steeper 45-degree chunk rock or channel swing type banks back in the creeks and on the main lake, paralleling the bait, keeping the boat in about 10 or 12 foot of water, just basically throwing it and paralleling it. That's how we've been catching them on a crankbait down there as well. Going to the mid-lake area, same bites are working in the mid-lake area right now. Got a good deep bite going on. Scuba spoon, Rapala jigging wrap, both are working. Again, the fish are either on gravel. We're catching quite a few fish on main lake gravel points and humps, 45 to 65 foot deep, relating right to the bottom, or back in the creeks, relating to the shad. If you don't see any shad in the creek, you might as well turn around and get out. But if there's shad in the creek, look for those fish to be in the top 2 or 3 feet of those shad, and you'll actually see them come out of the shad occasionally, chasing a single shad. So watch for that. Work the top of the shad or work the bottom. The stick bait bite's been pretty strong as well. Fishing in around trees, around standing timber. Steeper banks. Definitely want to be fishing steeper banks, either chunk rock or bluff ends, or the mouths of creeks that are steep. Vision 110 plus 1 and plus 2 have been the best bait I've been throwing, but I have caught a few on a McStick as well. Cloud cover and wind really seems to help that bite. They're not really up there. We're not really pausing it very long too. It's just, we're almost working it constantly. Maybe a 2 to 3 second pause in between twitches is all we're doing with that. A-rig bites starting to kick off in the mid-lake area as well. A lot of these fish are on those steeper banks again. Bluff ends, actually paralleling bluffs with trees on them. The ends of bluffs, the mouths of creeks that are kind of bluff pockets, that sort of thing. Wherever you've got standing timber and deep water, we seem to be able to catch them on an A-rig right now. Again, they're suspended. Not quite as deep as they are down by the dam. Have been catching some in that 12 to about 20 to 22 foot range on an A-rig. Basically throwing it, letting it settle, letting it sink down to about that 12 to 15 foot range, and then just slowly reeling it in. Just a constant retrieve. Every once in a while, maybe give it a little twitch to give it a little action. But we have been catching them on an A-rig and a crankbait. Wigglewort, rock crawler, curve 55, steeper banks, 45-degree chunk rock, channel swing type banks, keeping the boat in about 10 to 12 foot of water and paralleling. Works great when it's windy and cloudy. If it's sunny and flat, don't even bother. You're better off throwing a jig, like either the Jewel Pro Spider jig or the Jewel Pee Wee football jig on those same banks. So steeper chunk rock, channel swing type banks, working it out a little bit deeper, 10 to 15 to 20 foot range really seems to be key. Throwing the jig right now in the Kimberling City area. And go up into James, and James has got a really good A-rig bite right now. Probably the best A-rig bite on the lake is up the James, primarily on bluffs and steeper channel swing type banks, mostly on the main lake too, and mostly paralleling, especially when you come to a bluff end or a bluff point. Anywhere you've got timber on those, really seems to be holding a lot of better quality fish that you can catch on an A-rig. Again, they are suspended up a little bit shallow in the water column, with the water being a little bit dirty up there, about that 10 to about 20, maybe 25 foot range on a sunny day. And we're just basically throwing it out, letting it sink down, get it down to that depth, and just slow rolling that thing back in. Caught several fish doing that last week. Catching them on a crankbait up there as well. Wigglewort, curve 55. Rock crawler, all those are working on those steeper banks on windy, cloudy days. If you have a sunny, calm day though, you're going to do a lot better with a Jewel Pro Spider jig. Was up there last week and caught several on a 7/16 in Okeechobee Blue. Caught them on Missouri Craw as well, matched up with either a Speed Craw or the Jewel Finesse Craw were the two trailers I was using. A lot of those fish on those calm, sunny days are going to be 10 to 12 to 15 foot deep. You really don't have to fish that deep up the James. Those fish really haven't moved that deep. But caught a lot of fish on a jig up there last week as well. Go up into the White River, and all these bites we've been talking about are working in the White River. Definitely have a really good deep bite up there, both on gravel back in the creeks with a Jewel Scuba Spoon or the Rapala jigging wrap. Look for these fish to be anywhere from 45 to 65 to even 70 feet deep on sunny days. Holding tight to the bottom if you're fishing the gravel humps and gravel points. If you're back in the creeks, look for the shad and fish that top 4 to 5 feet in the shad. That's where we've been catching them on in the creeks as well. And again, if you don't have shad in the creek, turn around, get out of there, go to another creek, or go fish the main lake. It seems to change day by day where the shad are. The shad have been moving quite a bit in the last week or so. A-rig bite's been strong up there too. Again, bluffs, bluff ends, steeper banks with standing timber really seems to be the key right now with the A-rig. Most of the fish are suspended, 15 to 25, even 30 feet down. throwing it out, letting it sink down to that depth, and then just slowly reeling it in. I've been using the Flash Mob Junior. Has been my best A-rig. I don't know that it makes a difference with the Kitech baits on it, 2.8s and 3.3s, and just slowly working that bait back. Catching a lot of fish on an A-rig right now. Catching fish on a stick bait up there as well. Doing better again with the Vision 110 +1 or +2. Working it fairly quick though, not letting it sit too long. 2 to 3 second pause between twitches, and most of these fish are relating to wood, whether it be standing timber or brush piles. They're suspended down in that 10 to 12 foot range. Been catching quite a few on that. Catching them on a jig too. Jewel Pro Spider jig 7/16 has been my best weight. Okeechobee Blue or Green Pumpkin Candy have been my two best colors. Matched up with either a Speed Craw or a Jewel Finesse Craw. Have still caught some on the Pee Wee football jig as well, in either Touchdown, Hail Mary, or Bass Whacker, matched up with the Jewel Finesse Craw. Those fish are more on the gravel mixed with rock points, and those tend to be smallmouth. They're fairly shallow if you've got cloud cover, that 10 to 12 to 15 foot deep if you got cloud cover. If it's sunny, that bite gets tough. You got to work it really slow, and most of these fish are going to be out 15 to 25 and even 30 feet deep some days on a football jig. Did have a few requests for a color chart on the Jewel Pee Wee football jig so you can see what Touchdown and Hail Mary look like. Did find this, so this has got those colors on it so you guys get a better idea what we're talking about on the Jewel Pee Wee football jig colors. And all those colors are working. The Hail Mary, the Touchdown, and the Bass Whacker, all those are the colors we've been throwing down here on Table Rock for the last 2 or 3 months, pretty much since that jig came out. Guys, it is almost Christmas. One more week till Christmas Eve, and it's showing it outside. It's cold, it's nasty. Gonna warm up by the end of the week. Gonna go out and get you guys some fresh intel for next week, but fishing's been good. Fished the Jason Newberry tournament. Awesome that we had almost 55 boats show up for that, raise some money for Jason. We managed to catch, 12, 14 keepers. Didn't get in the money though. We caught a bunch of keeper Kentuckys. Lost one good one, but doesn't matter. But it was really great to see all the guys coming out, supporting Jason, helping him with his financial needs since he's fighting cancer. Appreciate all you guys that came out, but a lot of fun, a lot of fish caught a bunch of different ways. So it's obvious the fish are biting on Table Rock. So coming down maybe for a little Christmas trip or a trip between Christmas and New Year's and you want to go fishing, it's a great time to come. We're catching them. If you want to learn how to throw an A-rig, we can go out and do that. Want to learn how to fish deep, we're catching them deep, and we'll catch them through January deep. You want to learn how to do that, now's the time to come. Just want to come down, catch some fish, and have fun, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com, and either shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Guys, thanks for watching the videos. If you haven't subscribed, please take a minute to subscribe. Appreciate that, but thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.